In Vedic astrology, there is an age-old saying which translates in Sanskrit as Bhagyam Falati Sarvatra Na Cha Vidya Na Paurusham. Na Cha Vidya, it is neither education, na Paurusham, nor enterprise. Bhagyam Falati Sarvatra. It is only destiny that finally prevails. In real life, destiny does really matter. But let us not forget and accept the importance of free will, good actions and karmas, blessings of our forefathers, and the grace of God. Today is a very special day, being the 15th day of the dark half of the lunar month, and it is called as Amavasya. Okay? And Amavasya is a natural phenomenon that occurs, which we call as the new moon, is when the sun and the moon are in conjunction. Okay? And this day is derived, Amavasya, the day Amavasya is derived from the name of a king called as Amavasu. Okay? Now, who was King Amavasu? King Amavasu was the son of Pururavas, and he belonged to the lineage of the Chandravamshis. And from the same lineage belonged a great saint, a Brahma Rishi, who is called as Vishwamitra. Amavasya, this day is very important for ancestor veneration, veneration of the dead. The spirits of the departed souls are, oblations are given to the spirits of the departed souls. These departed souls are in Vedic culture, they call as Pitris. Okay. Now, who are these Pitris? Now, the Puranas that we are talking about, there are roughly, we can see the reference of Pitris in about 5 to 7 Puranas. Okay. A complete account of the Pitris or our forefathers, the departed souls, have been found in Matsya Puran, in Padma Puran, and in Harivansha Puran. There is also a mention that you can find or accounts of the Pitris, which is quite identical, and that can be found in Vayu Puran and Brahmanda Puran. Now, these Purans mention about also the genealogy of the Pitris. They are called as Pitra Vamsha. Okay? Now, the definition of Pitris, is quite different. Whenever you go to Matsya Puran, Padma Puran, and Harivamsha Puran, they also talk about the origins of the Pitris, the forms that they take, the grades that they have, the classes they belong to, and the different abodes that they live in. And on the basis of this categorization, you would see that they're broadly categorized as Deva Pitra, which means divine spirits or divine forefathers. And usually you see the Deva Pitras live or dwell in the heavenly abodes or the higher levels of the cosmic world. That is where they live, in the heavens. The other form of the Pitris is the Manushya Pitras. Okay, these are essentially the deceased human beings or the departed souls of the mortals. Okay, now there is a legend, about Amavasya, okay, and why this veneration of the dead is popularly done on an Amavasya Tithi, okay, which is the 15th, the waning moon that you celebrate, or you give oblations, or you do prayers to the departed soul. Now, our ancient scriptures are of the belief that the Pitru Loka is supposed to be on the unseen side of the moon. Now, what we have to know is you only typically see just one side of the moon. Okay, you never get to see the other side of the moon, and the other side of the moon is popularly called as the dark side of the moon. Right? Now, the dark side of the moon is where the Hindu mythology speaks about Pitru Loka. Okay? I have also mentioned about two different paths for the departed mortals. The one path is called as Devayana, which takes you in the realm of the sun god. Okay? And you fuse with the universal Paramatma. So that is the glowing light. So that is Devayana, the path of the sun. And then there is Pitrayana, that is the path of the moon. Okay? The departed soul go on the path of the moon. And this is where, when you go on the path of the moon, and this is where your Pitru Loka is, on the dark side of the moon, as per the mythologies of Vedic Shastras. And it is, once you go there, you always have to reincarnate on the earthly plane. But suppose you take the Devayana path, then it is a path of no return. Okay? That is the path what we call as liberation or moksha or nirvana. Okay? But Pitru Loka is where is a temporary pit stop for people or our ancestors to go there and then to reincarnate at a specified period of time. Right? Now, what is the importance of an Amavasya and why it is connected with the Pitru Loka and the Pitris is whenever you see the cosmic phenomenon, when the Amavasya happens, you see that the sun and the moon are completely blocked, and the dark side of the moon gets the complete light of the sun. Okay? So that is when, it is that day when the sun is completely shining on the dark side of the moon. That is when our ancestors, our forefathers, the spirits, usually are believed to be on the earthly plane to bless its descendants, okay, to bless us. Right? Now, let me talk about this legend from which this name Amavasya comes. It comes from the king Amavasu. Okay? Now, there was a divine Pitru who was called as Agnishwatas. Okay? He was one of the 7 classes of the divine Pitrus, and he had a Manasa Kanya, a Manasa Putri, which is a mentally conceived girl child. Okay? Her name was Achoda. Right? Now, Achoda became the river of the heavens, or in the plane where the divine Pitris reside. Right? But because she was a Manasa Putri, she always desired to have a mortal father. Okay? The desire to have a mortal fire made her lose her divine and yogic powers. And this made her fall from the heavens. And when she was falling, she passed through the Pitru Loka, where the Pitru Loka, which is dedicated to the ancestors, right? Our mortal ancestors were there. And she prayed to them to save them. Now, hearing the appeal of Achoda and hearing her sorrowful story, the ancestors decided to rescue her from her miserable state, right? And what the Pitrus do is the Pitrus advised Achoda to be born as a daughter of King Amavasya, right? Now, Achoda, in due course, after her birth in the family of the lineage of the Chandravamshis, that is King Amavasya, in due course of time, she regains her lost powers, right? And in gratitude to the Pitrus who saved her and who advised her to be born in the kingdom of Amavasya, she starts a ceremony in remembrance of the Pitrus and paying gratitude to the Pitrus. And this is what today we celebrate in the name of Amavasya. Right? Now, this day is very, very auspicious and is dedicated for the remembrance and worshipping of our forefathers. In Vishnu Dharma Shastra, it is stated that Amavasya is the day for performance of veneration. And typically, whenever you talk about veneration, you talk about rituals wherein 3 ancestral generations are appeased, or you pay oblations on this day to souls of your forefather in the form of a ritual called as Tarpanam, okay, which is also popularly known as Pitru Karma. And some forms they also say it is one of the samskaras, and we call them as also Shraddha. Okay? Shraddha or Tarpanam is performed on this day for liberation of the departed souls. And this finds a lot of prominent place in a lot of Hindu mythology. Right? Now, there is also a popular belief that the departed forefathers come down to the earthly plane and they drink or they seek food from their descendants, okay, or they solely depend on their progeny to feed them, right? Now, but there is a small thing that everybody needs to remember, that this ritual of Tarpanam or Shraddha can only be done by a fatherless son. Okay, he is only eligible to do this ritual, right? Now, there is also a very popular legend where in Karna, okay, he is also called as Dana Veera Surya Putra Karna, okay, the great hero of Mahabharata. When he leaves his mortal body and he ascends to the higher worlds, just by his virtue of being one of the greatest, one of the greatest charitable persons here on the earthly plane, and all the charities that he did, all these things were returned in manifold, hundreds of folds, when he went to the higher plane, right? So, but what he realized is all his life when he was there on the earthly plane, he donated gold, silver, gems and ornaments. But he did not do any charity in terms of giving away food. So he realized that he had no food to eat out there. Now, Karna prays to Lord Yama, the god of death, and he requests Lord Yama to give him another opportunity to return to earth for 14 days to make up for this deficiency of not having food. And when Karna returns back to the earth, for 14 days he feeds the Brahmins and the poor and offers oblation of water to his ancestors. On return to the higher region, right, he gets to see that he has plenty of food there. So these 14 days of ritual that you follow is typically commemorated as Mahalaya Paksha or Mahalaya Amavasya. 14 days is very, very important for the Hindus. It is believed that due to the grace of Yama, all these offerings that are made to the ancestors on the Amavasya fortnight reaches the souls very easily. Okay. Now on Amavasya Tithi, there is also a very popular, culture which is followed, that feeding of the crows. And often you see that after Shraddh, it is the cow and the crows which are fed. Now, why the crows? Okay. Now there is a very popular Subhashitani. Subhashitani is, usually in Sanskrit, whenever you have certain key wisdom to be shared, it is given in poetic form. Now, in Sanskrit, there is a poem, a Subhashitani, related to the crows, which goes like, Kaka ahvayate kakan, yachako na tu yachakan, Kaka yachakaro madhe, varam kako na yachaka. Now, this is a very beautiful thing which gives you the meaning why a crow is very important, and it is believed that our departed ancestors or the souls of the ancestors come in the form of crows, and they feed the offerings that we give them, and that will keep them satisfied till the next new moon or till the next Amavasya. Okay? Now this thing, Kaka avayate kakan. Now when a crow sights food, right, it swoops down to grab its food, but it starts summoning its fellow crows, right? With its strident howling, it always wants the other crows to join it in partaking of the food. Okay? Yachako natu yachakan, which means when a beggar, he sees food, he doesn't invite other beggars to come and partake or share the food with them. So, Kaka yachakaro madhe, which means between, if you have to go by the virtues of the crow and the virtues of the beggar, when you are juxtaposing them, the crow fares much better. Okay? And in case you do not, wherever you are in the world, and today, if you are unable to do the Tarpanam or you are unable to do the Shraddh, there is also in the Shastras, it is mentioned that a prayer to the gods, right, by raising your hands up and pleading to the gods, open hands, pleading to the gods to relieve you from ancestral debts, right? And your prayers will be responded if prayed with dedication and sincerity and remembering your victories. And, doing also a form of Manas Puja, which means in your mind you feed or give offerings to your ancestors and see them that they are happy, and then ask them to move towards the bright light. Ask them to move towards the bright light. The bright light is the sun. Okay? Ask them to move towards the bright light, and express your will that you are helping them to move, and ask them for their blessings. Okay? So today is a day when you can perform these ceremonies, you can perform these rituals, and it is believed in our Shastras that when you perform Amavasya Pitru karmas, it helps and it gets you the blessings of Lord Yama. Okay? The family is protected from ill fate, the family is protected from illness. Any delays that you are going through or any obstacles in life are being removed by your ancestors. The deceased ancestors' souls get satisfied, and they get to move towards the higher planes of the Pitru Loka. Right? And in return, what do the Pitrus do? The forefathers do? They bless their children here on the earth plane. Okay? For long life. They give them superior intellect. They give you wealth. They give you radiance. And they give you success. Okay? So use today's energies, very powerful energies. And also not to forget, today is Revati Nakshatra. Okay, the last nakshatra of the 27 constellations of the zodiac, and Revati nakshatra is presided by Pushan. Pushan is one of the 12 solar deities, right? And he is called, and he is always invoked for safe travels. And it is seen that he is the caretaker of the departed souls. He is also being seen as a boatman. Okay, he ferries you across the, after death, he ferries you across towards the southern gates of Yamlok or Pitrulok. Okay, and Pushan is also seen as a shepherd. He takes all the sheep together. Okay, and the sheep are the souls, departed souls, and he ensures them, he shows them the right path, like a shepherd. Right? Also remember, Revati Nakshatra, the guna, the guna of this nakshatra, the purushartha of this nakshatra is moksha, which means liberation. So today is again giving and helping the ancestors to give them liberation, giving them moksha, because Revati Nakshatra is operating. The gana or the race of Revati Nakshatra is Devagana, which means it's a divine race. So it again helps you today to, with the blessings of Pushan, with the blessings of Lord Yama. Today is when you can have your ancestor peace, okay, and you can ask for the blessings of all these divine gods, right, to help your ancestors move up in the cosmic plane. Okay? So take this day as a very important day, and every Amavasya is a very important, day to reach out and to appease and to give oblations to your ancestors. Thank you very much.